Hey everybody, Questwise here, and today I was trying to upload a video, to record a video, and about halfway through, my furnace kept kicking on behind me and threw off the audio quality, and so it was making me kind of mad, and so I decided to just do this live. I just want to do a quick review of the Tomb of Annihilation dice set. I picked this up last night, and there's a lot of places online, a lot of reviews online that give these very, very poor reviews. A lot of YouTube creators have done reviews on this, so if you want to watch some of theirs, you can go do that. They've been giving them very poor reviews. I wanted to pick up a set for myself and just see what exactly they were talking about. Just kind of get my own kind of copy of these. So picked this up last night. I did open it because there's a little bit of surprise in here of how I made this better for myself, I guess. This is the sleeve. It's everything you've seen on the other YouTube channels. Retails for $19.95. That's one of the big complaints about this, is people are complaining that it's overpriced for what you get. But let's crack open the sleeve and I'll show you what's inside. So you get this cool tin. Kind of dig it. I think it's kind of fun. It's kind of a weird, I don't know if it shows up very well online, but it's kind of a weird kind of greenish tint to it, kind of hue. You got this kind of demonic face, which mimics the artwork from Tomb of Annihilation, which is kind of cool. On the back, it's got a little painted thing, just tells you what's in the box itself. And it's not a bad tin. I mean, it's pretty decent as far as thickness and stuff goes. It's made of aluminum, so it's nice and lightweight. It's very sturdy. It's quiet. I don't know. I like it. So it's kind of cool. And there's a little bit of a weird thing. I don't know if there's just maybe just the one I got, or if it's actually on kind of all of these. But you can tell when they pressed this face into the aluminum, it sort of warped the aluminum lid itself a little bit. But I think that's probably kind of unavoidable when you're trying to do something, because this is pretty well embossed in there. I mean, this is a very good detail to it and stuff. So on the inside, you have your standard set of dice. Well, not so standard, which is what I think makes this dice set very unique. It's kind of a greenish color, kind of a flat green color. The D20, I don't know if you can kind of see that on the camera. It's a little weird, the lighting in here, but the D20 is a little bit lighter shade than the regular other dice. And I don't know what their design choice behind that was. Maybe it's so you can pick it out quicker on the table. I'm not sure, but I dig it. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool choice to do. Make it a little bit different shade. I like the green color. It's a lot of people are complaining about the green color, but I think it's kind of neat. It does mimic the sort of tone of Tomb of Annihilation, being a jungle setting down in Chult in the Forgotten Realms. And so it makes it feel almost like they're sort of like ancient, maybe jade pieces of rock or something. But I dig the color. I think it's cool. As far as price-wise goes, I don't feel like I was ripped off or anything. I think, I think $20 wasn't really a bad shot. 20 is kind of a weird number when it comes to retail. If you've ever worked retail before, you know that if you price anything above $20, people begin to kind of, they get sketchy about it. But $20 and less is, that's a $20 bill. Big deal. You just toss it out there. But I don't feel like I was ripped off at all. I think Wizards did a really good job. A normal standard set of dice that you would get from, say, Chessex or Q Workshop is going to be 7 dice. It's going to be these 6 plus one 6-sided die. Okay. That's going to run you anywhere between, prices I've seen anywhere between like $8 and $12, depending on the kind of style of the dice you get, or color, the whether they're like marbled or whether they're translucent. So there's a kind of a range of prices there, anywhere between, I've seen them as low as, $8, sometimes maybe $5.95, up to about $12, $15. I've seen a lot of the sets like $15.95, $16.95 for the specialty sets, like for the Modiphius games and stuff like that. And again, you're just getting, even if you get a set of 7, you're going to get, same kind of thing. What's really great about this, because one of the main ways to create characters, one of the main what's the word I'm looking for? One of the main ways to roll your attributes for making a character usually involves rolling 46 and dropping the lowest number. Because the standard set only comes with 1d6, it means you got to grab some other dice from someplace else. I love the fact that they had enough insight, enough sort of forethought that they actually gave you 4 6-sided dice. It's a standard array. As your 4, you just pull these out, you roll them for your attributes, and I like that. I think that's a great forethought on their behalf. Other than that, the dice are pretty standard. They're decent weight. They're not bad. Their colors of the numbers and the way that they're embossed are very, very well done. Again, I'm not really sure who produced the dice, because the thing that I've noticed that's kind of interesting, 2 things really. The D4 is in the old style, where the number is actually along the flat plane of the die. A lot of the newer ones, they'll put the numbers toward the peaks of the die. I love this. This really reminds me of when I got into the hobby back in the early 90s. It was 2nd edition D&D, AD&D, sorry. All the D4s were like this. This is the old school style, and I really, really dig that. The second thing I've noticed is that the tens die here, the percentile D10, is the numbers on them are very, very small. They're kind of in a weird, I can get this closer to the camera, they're in a sort of a strange, a lot of times with the newer dice, the numbers are bigger and they're down towards the sort of bevel on the bottom of the die. These are a little bit smaller, but they're not hard to read, as you can see on the camera, which I think is kind of cool. I don't mind that at all. The next biggest complaint about this set was that the box is this big. It's this thick. This is just a layer of foam that the dice are sort of sitting in, which means that there's literally this much of empty space in here, which is actually a piece of foam. And the reason I haven't taken the dice out of here is because I've modified the box a little bit, and I just kind of want to show you what I did to enhance this a little bit. So literally there's a big chunk of foam in the bottom of this that's sort of just empty. It's just foam holding this small piece up on top. People have complained that why would they give you such a big box for just a small set of dice? My thought is they give you a big box so you can carry more dice. Yeah, you get the specialty set, but everybody else already has dice. They have tons of dice. Everybody has dice. And thus they give you a box to throw extra sets of dice into. I know when I'm at the table, when I'm running a game or playing a game, I don't like to have just one set of dice. I minimum like to have at least 2 sets of dice with me at all times. Only because one of these damn things is going to throw you off. One of these things is going to roll low, and it's going to mess you up every time, and thus you're always going to want to try to find, your D20 is always going to roll a 1. It's going to just flip. And so you're going to want to, grab another D20 and roll it. It's just the theory of bad mojo on the dice. So I always like to have extras. Now you could put a ton of dice in this box. You could put tons of stuff in here. The problem is the box is aluminum. You put dice in this thing without the foam, and it's going to rattle like crazy. You put this in your backpack or whatever, it's going to be loud, it's going to be clunky, it's going to be annoying. What I did to combat that is that I took out this piece of foam, and this piece of foam has holes. They're drilled all the way through. So I laid this on top of the big piece of foam on the bottom, and I drew with a fine point Sharpie. I traced the circle or the whole square, whatever they are, and then I used a X-Acto knife to cut out pieces in the bottom piece of foam. So normally this piece of foam is just completely flat. It's just a thick piece of foam. So I used my X-Acto knife and I cut out the holes to match the holes that were in this. And now I have another tray for another full set of dice. This is just a set of dice I owned before. This is a Chessex set. It's a nice set. I think it's a slime. I think that's what they call that. I threw in a couple extra dice because with the other set, you only get 1 D6. So I threw in an extra D6. I threw in an extra D8 because every once in a while you're going to want 3D8. I threw in my cool treasure or trap die in there because whenever I'm DMing, especially in Tomb of Annihilation, you want a random encounter, you want to throw in a random trap. So that I did that. So I just cut out the hole in the foam, and now I have a full another set of dice that I can keep in this tray with me. So I can take 2 sets of dice with me. And I want to show you something cool. Put the lid back on. It sits perfectly flat, and it's quiet. There's no dice rattling around. There's no craziness. It's not going to be super loud. And I have 2 sets of dice with me in a really super cool tin. Especially if I'm running Tomb of Annihilation, it's going to give me a cool themed set to bring to the table. To, kind of impress my players. I can always use this as, kind of set it on the table like so, and kind of have a nice little thing to represent the tomb itself as well. But that's it. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the dice. I think they're cool. Like I said, there's a lot of YouTube people out there right now that are complaining about the price, the value, and the whatever. But I think that they're just complaining because it's D&D. But once again, I think the dice are great quality. I think they're really nice. And if with just a little bit of ingenuity, you can actually build the set so that you can carry 2 sets of dice with you and a little bit more. I added a couple extra dice in there too. So that's it for me today. It's Questwise is review. Does that sound right? Of the Tomb of Annihilation dice set, brought to you by Wizards of the Coast and from Questwise. So I picked these up. You can get these anywhere now. Pretty prevalent out in the wild. I picked this up at a Books A Million in my local town here in northern Michigan. Just happened to go in and they had like 5 or 6 sets, and I thought, what the heck, give this thing a whirl, give you a little bit of my review of the dice. Again, this is the dice you get with the set, with the extra D6s, which I think is awesome, and then my modification of the tray below it, so that you can actually carry 2 of them whenever you go out to the game table. All right, Questwise, I'm out.